Milan. Judging by its voters on Sunday, half of Italy is angry. It believes immigration is a bad thing, the European Union is a lousy deal, Donald Trump is an example of leadership and Vladimir Putin is a good man. One protest movement, 5-star, which had made aggressive talk its trademark for years, switched to a gentler tone as election day neared and polled 33% of the vote, which will make it the largest party in our new parliament. At the same time, Italy's right-wing coalition got 37% of the vote, half of it from the League, a party that campaigned obsessively on immigration, Italians first. Sound familiar? What happened to the happy Italians? Has la dolce vita, the sweet life, turned bitter? For many people, unfortunately, the answer is yes. What happened on March 4 is not unlike what happened in Britain and the United States in 2016. A frustrated major proportion of the electorate vented its anger at being left behind by those they perceive as privileged. First Brexit, then a new president, now a new Italian parliament, all they needed was a national election. Italy took a little longer, but the direction of travel is the same, and so are the vehicles, political forces that transform disappointment into votes. Will the League and 5-star join forces and form a government? While the League's leader, Matteo Salvini, has ruled this out, it's too soon to know the outcome. The two parties share some ideas and pet hates, but they are indeed different. Geographically so for a start. In Italy, changes in latitude bring changes in attitude. Mr. Salvini, 44, is from Milan, and did very well in Italy's affluent north, where voters worry about their safety and taxes. Luigi Di Maio, 31, the 5-star leader, is from Avellino, near Naples. He conquered the poorer south, and his movement won 50% of the vote and every first-past-the-post seat in Sicily, where youth unemployment has increased while incomes decreased. The Italian South is indeed in trouble. Italy's economy overall is picking up, at last, but between 2008 and 2016 per capita GDP in the Mezzogiorno, or South, fell 11.3%, in contrast with 5.8% in northern Italy. Today Slovenia, Slovakia, and the Czech Republic all have a higher GDP than the Italian South. Youth unemployment? According to Eurostat, 3 of the 4 worst-hit regions in Europe are in Italy: Calabria, 58.7%, Sicily, 57.2%, and Sardinia, 56.3%. Women in employment? Only 31.7% in the south, 58% in the north. People living in absolute poverty? Over 10% in the south, 6% in the center-north. High-speed railroad tracks? 4 times as much in the north. Since 2003, Southern universities have lost 30% of their students, mostly because of poor academic standards and emigration to northern Italy, Europe, and beyond. Enrollment at universities in the north dropped just 3%. Southern voters know that Rome and the central government are not the only culprits. Local government is also to blame. For the most part, it has been shaped by traditional parties, Forza Italia on the right and Democrats on the left. It has proved often ineffective, sometimes disastrous, and corrupt. And the ruling classes in Campania, Puglia, Calabria, or Sicily have done little to raise the quality of life of their fellow Southerners. It's no coincidence that voters in those areas turned en masse for help toward untested newcomers. What can be worse than this? said an academic from Naples who had seen a fat contract for health equipment awarded to the criminal organization known as the Camorra. Did 5-star promise to change all this? Did it point out that half of all buildings in the south last year went up without proper planning permission, compared to 5% in the north? Not really. It just offered voters a chance to vent their frustration, and perhaps most important offered a solution from above: more subsidies, more public money, even a reddito di cittadinanza, a salary for every citizen. Professor Roberto Perotti, one of Italy's most respected economists, in his recent book Falso Fake, claims that this would cost about €45 billion, which Italy cannot afford. But this, apparently, didn't matter to 5-star supporters. The North, by contrast, is doing well. So why did it vote in large numbers for Mr. Salvini's League, choosing him over its former idol, Silvio Berlusconi? Because Mr. Salvini talked about another key issue: immigration from Africa and elsewhere. Mr. Salvini, without offering a solution, stressed over and over that immigration was too high, and also mismanaged. The League campaigned in the roughest parts of Milan and Turin, where newcomers are often involved in petty crime. It worked. The League's vote was higher wherever the number of foreigners grew faster. Today, 58% of immigrants live in the north, compared to 26% in the center, 12% in the south and 4% on the two major islands. In northern Italy, foreigners represent 11% of the population, against 4% in the south. The Italian north is also worried about taxes and red tape. Mr. Salvini took every opportunity to convince small entrepreneurs that the League is on their side. During the campaign, he mixed common sense and ludicrous promises. A European rule states that invoices must be settled within 30 days. He'll make sure it will be enforced. Bravo! Mr. Berlusconi, his ally and competitor, promises a 23% flat tax, which would cost the Italian public coffers €83 billion. Mr. Salvini goes one further, and promises a 15% flat tax. A reform named after Elsa Fornero, a former Labour minister, raised the retirement age for both sexes to 67 by 2019, and kept Italy from going broke in 2011. He'll scrap it. I'm proud to be called a populist, as I like the people, said an ebullient Mr. Salvini. We achieved a post-ideological result that goes beyond the right-left divide, a euphoric Mr. Di Maio boasted. Neither commands a majority in parliament, but they'll try to put it together. One of them, or both, may be asked by President Sergio Mattarella to form the next Italian government. Who will cheer in the end, the North or the South? And for how long?